Now, Andy, I had the privilege of being in the same room a couple of years back when President Bush was president. And he said something similar about the Abrahamic faiths, and Islam is a great religion and Islam is part of the Abrahamic faiths. And I appreciated that, so that if he is reaching out as President of the United States, we have to applaud him for that. The fact that the President is recognizing the Muslim community. And yet you saw that in that aftermath, there was a storm of controversy. There was a storm next morning, so that when he went down to the coast, the questions were not about oil and the economy there. The questions were about what he thought of the mosque. Again, because the association Obama, mosque equals Islam, equals Obama being a secret Muslim, means equals to Islam, which is violent and terrorist and extremist, which means association with Islam equals Obama. And that is the sort of connection that is running through people's minds. And again, with this environment, it's a tinderbox situation. One spark, it can lead to anything.
I was reading today in the Post that 20% of Americans believe that Obama is Muslim.
Yeah, 20%, think of it.
Fascinating. What would you recommend as someone who's been through so many communities and has talked to so many people, involved with so many different cross dialogues? What do you recommend we can do at this point to avert what you're really kind of painting as a pretty dire picture with sparks and maybe possible violence or whatever may come out, can may come of this?
Well, Andy, what I would, it may sound simplistic, and I don't like simplistic answers, but what I would recommend is exactly what you're doing. Conversation, dialogue, honest, open dialogue, get people together, Jews, Muslims, Christians, I'm seeing a whole variety of people here. Have a meal, talk as Americans, as friends, because that's the only thing that brings down the temperature. You know, on this journey we found so many Americans telling us, again and again, they would ask these boys, for example, I think there was some lady asked Frankie and Jonathan in Florida, she came out of a trailer park and she was wearing a sweater made in Pakistan. You can imagine how poor she was. And they asked these two boys, and she said, this is from Pakistan, and Frankie said, I've been to Pakistan. And she said, oh, you've been to Pakistan? Do they love their children in Pakistan? And he said, of course they love their children. And she said, I knew it, they're like us, they're good people. And it's as basic as that. You need to humanize each other. Muslims are not demons, and vice versa. We need to humanize, and it only happens if you have this kind of conversation. And remember, Andy, I'm coming from South Asia. If you think we have problems within the communities here, in South Asia, I was a 4-year-old boy when the subcontinent was partitioned. Something like 2 million people were killed. You know, we are still grieving 3,000 on 9/11. 2 million people were slaughtered. Hindus, Sikhs, Muslims just going berserk, going mad. 15 million people were displaced. That was the scale. And even then I became aware of the power of religious hatred. And even then I became aware, as a young boy, Andy, that something had to be done to stop this flood. It's like a flood, you know, it just sweeps you away. And what I am scared of, because we escaped that world to come here, what I'm scared of is that that similar flood may be building up here, and the dam right now is holding it. And that dam really is the vision, the strength of the founding fathers of this country. That is the dam holding this flood. And that must hold. And there are amazing miracles, Americans who understand the spirit, who stand up and fight for it. We saw that also. In Colombia, a mosque had been firebombed. Think of it, a mosque firebombed, one wall remaining with graffiti on it, swastikas, go home, you know, you so-and-sos. And the community then told these Muslims who were standing out there in the open, go home. So they said, we are home, we are born here. And then this heroic Reverend Williamson, a Presbyterian teacher, a pastor, he turned up. He turned up with some keys. Now think of it. Every American has to be proud of this man. He turned up with these keys and he said to the Muslim community, here are the keys to my church. Use the church for your prayers. And if something offends you, remove that. Now this is also the spirit of America. This is also the spirit. So these are things, Andy, that we saw face to face, and it really makes you after a journey like that, makes you, certainly if you remember the ancient mariner, it makes you a wiser and a sadder man.